John, there are 7 words that I cannot say on the radio or television. And by radio or television, I mean that which is broadcast through satellite, right? That which is broadcast via your television's station and your radio station, not necessarily digital, but there are 7 solid words that cannot be said. John, who decided those 7 words?
Right, yeah.
And should there be more or should there be less? Should we remove those words altogether today?
And Tammy, this is why I draw the distinction between regulating free speech as it pertains to expressing a political or social viewpoint, as opposed to regulating things like obscenity, libel, et cetera. And just a friendly amendment to Brother Scott, because the example of incitement and obscenity is not constitutional law, but it is regulatory law, right? And so, we can have a conversation over regulations, and it's when the regulation sort of creeps into the area of regulating viewpoints and perspectives. That's where I get nervous about it. But I want to take it back to something again that I think Brother Henderson, and yourself, Tammy, have points that all y'all have basically been making about consequences, right? I think consequences is an important thing to sort of acknowledge as also being a part of free speech. Whatever I may feel about cancel culture as a general social phenomenon, if somebody, whether it's Kanye West or Kyrie Irving or Donald Trump or whoever, says something that is so outrageous that it elicits wide-scale public backlash, then that is fair and within the bounds of the consequences of free speech. I should have a right to say what I believe, but I don't have a right to then say, oh, but you're not allowed to criticize me for it, or you still have to buy my product, or you still have to vote for me. No, free speech brings with it the possibility for accountability, but that's why we should support it. Because if you don't give people the opportunity to put their foots in their mouths, you don't actually give them the opportunity to face some of that accountability. And what happens instead is the things that they think that may be negative still continue to get an audience. It still continues to grow. Racism doesn't disappear because you try and write it out of the rule books, but instead what happens is it metastasizes. It grows its audiences in the shadows where people are not able to come into contact with the narratives of reality. And so you don't solve the problem, you just relocate it. I think that people being able to respond negatively to the things that people say is a part of the positive power of free speech. And I think that y'all have kind of been making the argument without realizing it, that part of it is a good thing. And I agree.